You know, one of the biggest debates I see in SEO circles right now is all about schema markup. Is this little bit of code still a secret weapon for ranking? Or in 2025, has it just become a total waste of time? We're going to cut through all the noise today and get you a clear answer.
And this is the exact question that kicked off a huge discussion. I mean, think about it. If you're building a new site from scratch, every single minute counts. So do you really need to spend your time adding this code? Or are your efforts just way better spent somewhere else? That's what we're here to figure out.
Honestly, the experts are all over the map on this one, and it's because the world of search is changing so fast. So let's do this. We're going to break down the arguments from both sides of the fence and find a clear, actionable answer you can actually use. All right, first up, let's build the case for using schema. For years, this has been considered an absolute best practice, and a lot of experts argue that it's actually more important now than ever. The whole idea? It's all about clear communication. This quote right here from Mathost Matt, it really just gets to the heart of it. Schema, especially in that JSON LD format, it basically acts like a translator. It takes all the great content on your page and spells it out, crystal clear for search engines. So there's absolutely no guesswork involved. And look, schema isn't just a one-trick pony. It has a whole bunch of benefits. It feeds right into Google's knowledge graph. It helps Google pull out the key entities, the people, places, and products on your page. And it can even give you a little bump in crawling priority. Google itself calls it a strong signal, which makes it a really solid foundation for traditional search. And I love this point from Ben_eHealth because it's so practical. For most websites, adding the basic schema is super simple. With plugins and tools, it's not a heavy lift. So with such low effort and such a high potential for adding clarity, the real question becomes, why wouldn't you do it? Okay, so for good old-fashioned search results, the case for schema seems pretty strong, right? Case closed. But not so fast. The game is changing, and a massive shift is happening right now that brings us to the other side of this whole debate. Yep, here's the plot twist. AI. The arrival of AI-powered search has thrown a giant wrench in the works. All the old rules we learned, they don't necessarily apply to these new large language models, or LLMs. And this right here is the core of the counterargument. These LLMs, they don't read schema the way a traditional search crawler does. They tokenize it. They basically chop it up into tiny little pieces of text. And when they do that, all that beautiful structure you worked so hard to create just gets lost. This pretty much makes schema irrelevant for how AI search works. And this isn't just some theory somebody cooked up. A recent case study actually showed that AI search engines, for the most part, just ignore schema. To get cited in those AI-generated answers, you need something totally different. Let's just put this side by side because it really makes it clear. With classic search, your goal is to rank your pages and get those cool, rich results, right? And schema is the key to that. But with AI search, the goal is different. You want to be sourced in the answer itself. And for that, the AI prioritizes clear, well-written human content that it can understand all on its own. So, where does that leave us? I mean, if the future of search really is AI, and AI just ignores schema, should we just throw it out completely? Well, as it turns out, the answer is a little more nuanced than just a simple yes or no. Okay, this is where we pull it all together and find the real truth. Schema isn't dead, not by a long shot, but its role has definitely evolved. It's not a universal fix-everything solution anymore. It's more like a specialized tool that you use for very specific jobs. So the main takeaway here is this. It all comes down to your goal. If your number one priority is showing up in AI overviews, then you need to focus on just writing clear, well-structured sentences. But for almost everything else in search, schema is still your friend. And here is where schema is still the undisputed champion. You want those little star ratings for your product reviews? That's schema. You want your videos to show up properly in the search results? You absolutely need schema for that. Your local business info, those cool FAQ dropdowns, news articles, events, all of it still relies heavily on schema. Let's circle back to this idea because it's the perfect way to think about it. Adding schema is not going to magically shoot you to the number one spot. That's not what it does. What it will do is remove any confusion Google might have about your content. It makes you a clear, unambiguous, and trustworthy source of information. So, knowing all of this, what should you actually do? Well, the consensus from the experts points to a really simple, pragmatic approach.
I absolutely love this quote from JD Koyani because it just cuts right to the chase. Adding the basic schema for your site might take 10 minutes. There is literally no downside, so just do it.
So here's your strategy. It's so easy. First, just identify your most important pages, your homepage, your main product or service pages. Second, add the basic schema that describes what they are. Stuff like organization for your homepage or local business if you have a physical spot. Seriously, most SEO plugins can do this for you with just a few clicks. And finally, take that URL, pop it into Google's free Rich Results test tool just to make sure it's working. That's it. You're done. If you remember just one thing from all this, make it this. The mindset for schema in 2025 has shifted. It is not a ranking tool anymore. It's a clarity tool. Its entire job is to make sure that in the loud, noisy, complex world of the internet, search engines understand exactly who you are and what you have to offer. And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. Schema is how we talk to the machines of today. But as those machines evolve into the AI of tomorrow, the language we use to communicate with them is going to have to evolve too. The real question is, what will it take for you to be understood then?